Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Your health is at stake. Diabetes.
Diabetes, cancer, heart disease. Yeah, right. I'm too young to worry about all of that. Or am I? Millions of Americans are being diagnosed younger and younger each year. I guess it's really no surprise with how much our lifestyles have changed. More fried fast foods, extreme stress from work. 176 million people in North America consume unhealthy drinks. I know I do. Who could be next? My brother? My sister? Me? I think it's time to make a difference, and so should you. Extreme X2O alkaline water, designed to cleanse your body with just 2 simple steps: shake and wait. Not only will it help clean your kidneys, liver, and intestines, but it also helps with weight loss and anti-aging. Sign me up today. AbundantLifeMovement.com. You know, I better go call my sister to let her know about this. You should really tell a friend too, because is it really gonna kill you to shake and wait?
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You accidentally cut your daughter's bangs unevenly. Do you A, line things up a centimeter from her hairline?
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man.
No. Sweatbands are so hot right now. Everyone's wearing them. Like that basketball player and that other basketball player.
B, get spiritual.
Mom, where did all the mirrors go?
A reflection could never capture our true selves.
Huh?
Beauty is within.
C, look on the bright side.
Less time blow drying, more time texting.
Or D, show empathy.
Mom, you really don't have
Ta-da! Twinsies!
I kinda love it. As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
JBT 700 Miami Circle 30324. It's not a chain, it's a chain reaction. Invest $49 a month at a real gym. For more info, go to facebook.com/Jeans Body Tech.
George, y'all need anything else?
Sensation Station Network.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and today we are talking about self-preservation. It's such an important topic because there are so many ways, that we're being. Our energy is being depleted, and it's so important that we figure out how to overcome that. So between the things that are going on in the news and the personal people in our lives, sucking all of the lives out of us, we've got to find a way to preserve ourselves. So joining me today is Daisy Mack.
Hi.
She is from Peasy Heads, or she is Peasy Heads.
That's me.
She is the owner of Peasy Heads as well as Daisy's Garden. And so if you would just... Thank you and welcome.
Thank you for having me, Dr. Pamela. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's great to have you again. She's kind of a repeat guest. So if you can tell us who you are and what you do,
yes.
so the audience can get some idea. And why would I bring you here to talk about self-preservation?
Absolutely. So as she said, I'm Daisy Mack. I'm the owner of Peasy Heads Natural Hair Salon and the creator of Daisy's Garden Natural Hair Products. And I consider myself to be somewhat of a visionaire. I've had this vision of what I want to do, and that was to help my people to learn to embrace their natural hair. And I feel like that's a big part of self-love and self-preservation. And I mean, I could branch that off into so many different ways. One is we spend so much time trying to be beautiful or trying to fight the kink of our hair, or trying to be this thing other than what we are. And that depletes us. That alone, creates a lot of stress. When some people are out meditating or doing what they love, we're in the mirror trying to meet this standard that really, truly, we already have met within our hearts. We just haven't, come to terms with it. Absolutely. So I feel like natural hair, being natural, embracing your natural self is a big part of being able to preserve yourself. Now, me personally, I'm in the process of opening a new salon. Yay! And that's really exciting. It's going to be in Stone Mountain, in case you were wondering, 4600 Rock Bridge Road. But anyway, so...
you can say that more slowly. It's going to be 4600 Rock Bridge Road in Stone Mountain, Georgia.
Yes, and we'll be open this weekend. Thank you for that. But my point is that I do want you guys to come to the shop. But, going through opening a shop and starting a business, and Pam, because you're like Superwoman when it comes to this sort of thing, and that's a major depletion.
Yes.
I mean, you're getting pulled in all these different ways. I mean, you have to get all these permits, and you have have to buy all these things, and you have to worry about the money, and you have to hire people, and you get pulled in all these different ways, and if you're not careful, you will deplete yourself.
Right.
And one of the things that I decided when I embarked upon this journey about a month ago, which this is my second round, so I kind of know what to expect, but one of the things I promised myself was to not deplete myself. And that's easier said than done. So I have to make a conscious effort to be under pressure and be stressed out, but still be in tune with my star player.
Yes.
And to still watch the way I treat people and the way I, communicate and watch my tone, and to make sure that I'm eating right and to make sure that I'm getting enough sleep, although I don't. I stay up all night and get up early in the morning working on that one. And to try to, prioritize my personal health and my mental health and my relationships with those people who are important to me.
Okay.
So I feel like, in the process of doing that, I've kind of become a little bit knowledgeable about self-preservation.
That's great. That's great. And you said something early on about fighting the kink, that people try to fight the kink.
Yes.
It sounds like a T-shirt to me.
Don't steal
fight
it.
the kink. Don't fight the kink.
You can't. Because think about it. If you relax the kink, what happens? It comes back.
Yeah.
If you press it out, a good strong mist, it's over. So I always tell my clients, just embrace the kink.
Embrace it. Yes.
Don't work against it. Work with it.
I love it. I love it. That's great. Well, we are going to get into some trending topics.
Lack of diversity. Gas prices.
Michael Jackson. Trending topics.
Okay, so looking at what's going on in the White House, a federal court in Washington, D.C. is now barring President Donald Trump from changing the government's policy on military service by transgender people. So that was a big thing. He was, he had said, I'm going to change this, and transgender people cannot be a part of the military. Well, sir, that's unconstitutional.
Right.
So
that's discrimination, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And the rationale was, well, how much money is the government having to pay for their surgeries? And it's like, okay. Let's back up. When we look at the statistics, I think it said something to the extent that maybe 2% of transgender members of the military have gone through with the surgery. 2%. You know what I'm saying? And so surgery is not what defines transgender identity.
The government pays for that, though?
Well, I don't, but that was the argument. That and so I'm not sure, but that was the argument, that the government is spending money on surgeries and, care and well-being.
That's fluff.
Yeah. So it didn't work. And so that got overturned, and so at least one part of the Constitution gets to stay intact. But even bigger news, former campaign chairman Paul Manafort and his associate Rick Gates have been indicted by a federal grand jury on 12 counts, which includes conspiracy against the USA and money laundering, according to the special counsel's Robert Mueller office. So, so that was a really interesting day. I think it was Monday when all these things were coming out, and everybody was like, whoa, this is, what's going to happen next?
Are they going to go to jail?
We'll see. We shall see. But they're definitely being indicted, and there's going to be a trial, and so we'll see what happens as a result. Yeah.
Very interesting times.
It is.
In American history.
Well, and what's really interesting was all of the backlash about Hillary and how he was saying, she's going to jail. If I get elected, she's going to jail. Well, I don't know. So, and then also, it was revealed this past Monday that George Papadopoulos, former Trump foreign policy advisor, pleaded guilty to lying to the FBI about his contacts with Russia. And so it's just the plot is just thickening.
It is thickening.
It's thickening. And it's not even been a year yet, y'all.
Should be interesting.
This has been like the slowest moving political year I think I have ever experienced.
And has any policies is he actually doing anything with the government, like as far as what the president
Well, the things that he has attempted to put into place have been overturned. And so from healthcare to the immigration ban to, now I don't know, I heard the wall is happening, but I don't have official information about that, so I don't want to.
Is Mexico paying for it?
Yeah, well, so I don't know. We'll see how things things unfold. One thing that I find really interesting is on Halloween, there was a terrorist attack in New York City.
Really?
In Manhattan, there was a man who drove through a crowd of people
On the
bike
trail.
trail.
Okay.
Yes. So yes, I am a conspiracy theorist. I am. But my question is, and I know that there are intricacies about how something qualifies to be a terrorist attack and how some things don't, because he apparently yelled something out about Allah and, so they immediately labeled this as a terrorist attack. And they did say that it did match the instructions that ISIS has given to do a terrorist attack in terms of, running people over and that kind of thing. So yes, it did match that requirement. But I can't help not bringing up Vegas.
I was going to say, what about the Vegas shooting?
Yeah.
Was that a terrorist attack?
Right. And I guess because he didn't say Allah, which is really, if I was, first of all, the literal translation of Allah is God. Mm-hmm. So it's just a different language. Same, it's the same God that they're talking about.
Right.
They're not talking about
semantics here.
different, right. And so I would have it would be really difficult, I would imagine, as somebody who's Muslim, to be the defining reason why
it's terrorism.
It's a terrorist attack. Yeah. Because this guy in the hotel in Vegas, because he didn't say that.
What if he said, "Oh my God"? Would that?
He didn't have the right demographic. You know what I mean?
You scared to say it, Pam. I think it needs to be said.
He didn't have the right demographic, so he didn't match the race. He didn't match the religion. So he just didn't. It didn't. I can't come up with any other explanation as to why one would be called a terrorist attack and one would not. But, if you guys have any insight on that, let me know, because I know there's a formal definition.
Comments, please.
I know. But
call in.
Yeah, let us know. 678-613-5857. We'll be right back.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Indoor baseball, anyone?
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I am an American soldier. I'm a warrior and a member of a team.
I serve the people of the United States and live the Army values.
I will always place mission first.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never quit.
I will never leave a fallen comrade.
I am disciplined.
I am disciplined.
Physically and mentally tough.
Trained and proficient in my warrior tasks and drills.
I always maintain my arms, my equipment, and myself.
I am an expert and I am a professional.
I stand ready to deploy, engage, and destroy the
enemies of the United States of America in close combat.
I am a guardian of freedom.
Soldier.
I am an American soldier.
There's strong, and there's Army strong. See what it takes at GoArmy.com.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and I am joined by Daisy Mack of Peasy Heads, and we are talking about self-preservation.
Yes.
So the reason why this topic is near and dear to me is because I know that I have had to fight to become who I am and to remain who I am, because there's everything around me challenges that. Why do you have to be so like this, or why do you have to be like that, or well, I don't think you should do this, and just a lot of feedback.
Yeah. We'll call it feedback.
Feedback.
And for you to still be present for your daughter.
Right. And, and my son. And to just
son.
be able to continue on with the things that I do. And so I know that for a pretty long period of my life, I was I was diminishing. I was spiraling downward, and I didn't even know it. And, you know, one of the things that we talked about, I was in Wisconsin this weekend, is how we don't even sometimes realize what state of mind we're in. There are so many people hurting every day, and they don't even realize that this is not normal or healthy.
Right.
So how has this topic been, you know, impactful for you? What is it?
I mean, it's so many factors that just chip away at who you are, and you really have to fight just to be who you are and to preserve your being, your peace of mind. I mean, your peace of mind is your God-given right, but it's constantly under attack, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's a struggle, you know, and you have to be mindful, you have to be conscious of it, or else before you know it, like you said, you'll wake up and you're at the bottom and you didn't even realize how you got there.
Yeah, right.
And I think for a lot of us, you know, whether it's career, whether it's being a mom, whether it's, you know, being in school, getting that PhD, we become attached to these things. We become these things. These things, we allow these things to become our identity.
Right.
And we forget that that's not our identity. Those are just factors in our lives. And so there's that you inside that needs to be nurtured constantly. I mean, despite if you have a husband that you have to nurture or you have a child that you have to nurture, that you inside you needs to be nurtured. And I think that, you know, especially as Black women and probably women in general, men too, it's very easy for us to prioritize other people's needs and neglect our own. We're nurturing people. We make sure everyone eats. We make sure everyone's taken care of. And we're it's like, I'm okay. But are you really okay?
Right. And that's the thing. We tend to be the product of our success. You know, we wear that as our badge of honor, and people mistake that as who we really are. You know, so God forbid we have a period of time where we just cannot be that success. You know, we cannot live up to that in that particular moment in our lives, because we all hit really difficult times. And, you know, oh my gosh, if she can't maintain, you know, her demeanor and everything during this time, what does that say about me?
Yeah.
You know, people begin to internalize that.
Yeah, I mean, and we're all human, which means nobody is perfect, you know, and I think that those accomplishments that we have in our lives, those are great things. You know, if you are Dr. Pam, you know, that's awesome. She makes me call her Dr. Pam.
No.
Behind the scenes. She does. She makes me call her. No, but I think that's wonderful. But the thing is, if you can't be that Dr. Pam, or if you can't be that whatever, does that diminish your self-worth?
Right. A good example of that, it was last week. I was walking in the neighborhood, and I had some man pull up in a car and follow me and want to talk to me. And I expressed that, you know, I'm actually not interested. I'm focused. I'm going to keep going. And he was very persistent. And so he followed me in the car, and he said, hey, but I just want to talk to you. And I said, no. He said, well, can I walk with you? And I said, no. And he walked with me anyway.
Oh my God.
So suddenly,
Stalker.
yeah, you know, and I'm power walking and he's power walking behind me, you know. I just want to know.
serious?
Oh yeah. I just want to know, you know, if I can make a friend, and you know, and so suddenly the strong, confident, I got everything under control, Dr. Pam, was gone. It was like, oh my God, what do I do? I'm terrified. How do I get this person out of my space? And, you know, and so, you know, I tried my best not to let him see that. And that may not be the thing for you. For those of you who are watching, listening, you may say, oh, I would have been this and I would have been that. Well, that's you. But there's something that everybody has that kind of takes them out of that spotlight, you know, profile. And because we're real people.
Right.
You know.
And you lose your cool.
Yeah.
That mask comes off.
Right.
And you're like a human.
Yeah. And it's like in that moment, or, you know, after that moment, I'm thinking, there's like 10 million things I could have done to, you know, get this guy out of my space. And in the moment, I'm just kind of like a deer in headlights. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? You know, and so we have our deer in headlight moments, and, you know, and so I think we have to be forgiving of ourselves when those things happen.
Yes.
But also, this is what tells us, okay, here's another area that I need to develop and I need to strengthen, you know, in my own life. So I know I'm just talking.
That makes a lot of sense.
We have the research. We're going to get into the research.
In the interest of science.
So according to an article in WebMD, you know, we love WebMD, right? Anytime we have a symptom.
Do we now?
Every time we have a symptom, we're like, okay, I have a bump. What is this bump?
Forget going to the doctor.
Yeah, you
just
can go to
Google
WebMD. I know, we're so bad sometimes. But they have an article that is focusing on 10 health problems related to stress that you can fix. So these are health problems that are exacerbated by stress that you can actually fix yourself. Well, if it doesn't get too bad.
Okay.
The first one's heart disease. I'm like, well, you're not going to do surgery on yourself. But
there's an app for that.
There's an app for curing heart disease. No, but what it's saying is that researchers have long suspected that the stressed out type A personality has a higher risk of blood pressure and heart problems. So, in other words, calm down.
Take it easy.
Breathe.
It's not, it's not what's happening to you, it's how you respond to it.
Exactly. So, you can be type A. You can be type A, and you can be very meticulous and on time all the time, but don't get mad at people like me. That raises your blood pressure.
Right, exactly. She will raise your blood pressure too.
So when people like me come into your life, type A personalities, I'm going to need you to just learn how to woosah.
Yes.
It's not personal.
Just breathe.
She's not doing this to rebel against me. She is just being who she is.
Yes.
Her artsy
respond,
self.
don't react. Wait a minute. You're talking about me.
No, I'm talking about me. Where did you get you from?
Because you said artsy. I'm the only artsy one in the world.
I'm a writer. What's she talking about?
I'm the artsy one.
So heart disease is the first one. So stress can directly increase heart rate and blood flow and causes the release of cholesterol and triglycerides into the bloodstream. So it's also possible that stress is related to other problems, but heart disease is definitely one of them. So this is one. I'm going to be giving you the rest of them throughout the course of the show. So if you want to know, stay tuned, and we'll be right back on the Live Exchange.
Coming to Tampa Bay, I said we want to win a Super Bowl, and I believe we will.
From IamSecond.com.
We came close, but never really did win that championship.
Former NFL head coach Tony Dungy.
At the end of my 6th year, I was fired, and it was one of the biggest disappointments of my life. Next year, I'm in Indianapolis, get to the playoffs, but get knocked out again. And for the next couple of years, it's the same thing. Everyone is saying Colts are never going to win one. And I did wonder, why didn't it pan out the way I thought it would? But I determined that I had to have Christ first, and that everything else came below that, including my own desires. The next year, that ended up being our year to go to the Super Bowl and win it, and it was a wonderful feeling. Every decision I make, I'm going to make it through the lens of Jesus Christ, and He guides us to that ultimate victory. I'm Tony Dungy, and I am second.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve. It's now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
I want to be a warm place on a
I
cold
want to be
day.
a football
I want to
stadium.
be a bike that races around the country.
I want to be a bench on a forest trail.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
If you're looking for that ratchet, you're in the wrong place. It's the nation's urban internet station, Sensation Station Network.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and we are talking about self-preservation, and I'm joined here by, I was going to say Ruby. Ruby's watching.
Hey, Ruby.
Ruby is watching on the Sensation Station Network. Yes, yes. But I'm actually here with Daisy
Hi.
Mack. And so we are talking about self-preservation, and one of the things that we just looked at is from a WebMD article, 10 health problems that are related to stress that you can fix. I'm going to be giving you these health problems. I'm not going to give you a health problem, but I'm going to tell you what these health problems are throughout the course of the show. And I'll just give you number 2, and then we'll move on to some other things. But the first one was heart disease. The second one, believe it or not, is asthma. So there's a lot of studies that show that, yes, that stress can worsen asthma. And I can see that because stress can trigger anxiety.
And your breathing.
Yes. And so with anxiety, it's just, faster breathing, higher heart rate. So I can see how that's connected. Some evidence suggests that a parent's chronic stress might even increase the risk of developing asthma in their children. Yes. What? So chronic stress in parents can actually increase the risk of developing asthma in children. So talk about transferability.
Wow.
Yeah. One study looked at how parental stress affected the asthma rates of young children who were also exposed to air pollution or whose mothers smoked during pregnancy. So those 3 things, it's kind of like the perfect storm coming together. The kids with stressed out parents had a substantially, I read that wrong. So the kids with stressed out parents had a substantially higher risk of developing asthma than those who were exposed to air pollution or smoking. Wow. Did you guys hear that?
So stress is more toxic to your children than pollution.
And smoking.
And smoking.
We have entire non-smoking campaigns, right?
Right.
We have entire let's recycle, reduce, reuse, clean the air campaigns.
Yes.
I think it's time for a stress reduction campaign. Yes.
I want to be a part of that
yes.
campaign.
I think, I mean, that's pretty serious.
That's
and
huge.
I don't think we realize.
No, I don't. And I think, one of the main things that you really have to do is just care. Just to bring awareness to yourself and to, your presence that, hey, you know what, this is important.
Right.
Like you said, you won't sit in a room full of smoke and inhale it, but you'll sit there and let yourself get stressed out and not even be aware that there's even a problem there.
Right. And then if we consider it from a parenthood perspective, we're not going to stick a child in a room that's full of smoke, but we will sit them in our houses full of our stress and our stuff and our baggage. Yes. And that is, if you think about it, a child is at your mercy. I mean, you are their whole world. You are the person that is setting the tone for their life. And so, they are very vulnerable and susceptible to whatever you're putting out there to them.
Yes.
So
that's huge. I hope you guys are paying attention.
Yeah,
that's huge.
Pretty major. So one of the things that you've talked about in the past is the kind of self-esteem and how that's related to hair. And so what's the relationship between the way you view yourself and perceive yourself? Because people who go through lock journeys, for example, they're like, I don't want to go through the ugly phase, and so they are really concern about self.
Yeah, I mean, you internalize it, and I try not to make it about race, but a lot of times, as a Black woman, who you are naturally is just not acceptable to the mainstream society or the mainstream ideas of what beauty is.
So wait, let me stop you right there.
Okay.
So who you are in all of your fullness, realness, naturalness,
and beauty,
is not accepted by the larger society. So that alone
alone is stressful.
Yeah.
That almost gives you a preconceived notion. Even if you feel good about yourself, it's inflicted upon you that you're not.
You're constantly aware.
Yeah. So I just feel like, what you said about going natural or growing locks, that's a great example, because I think that's like a rites of passage for a Black woman, because you feel like I'm about to go through the ugly phase, but I'm going to do it anyway. And then when you do it, you realize it's not an ugly phase.
I loved that phase. Yes, I did. Wow, I was very creative though, so I did a lot of stuff and curly, but the fullness of my locks allowed me to do so much more to it than I can even Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So, say that again. No,
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. I'm just
beautiful.
kidding. We'll be right back on the Live Exchange.
Hi, I'm Viola Davis. Did you know that 1 in 5 kids in America struggle with hunger? Growing up, I was one of those kids. But we can solve this. When we make breakfast happen for kids in our neighborhood, we have the power to end childhood hunger, create bigger, brighter school days, and healthier minds and bodies. Go to hungeris.org and lend your time or your voice.
We're hungry for more.
A message from the Albertsons Companies Foundation and the Entertainment Industry Foundation.
Vince Lombardi once said that it's hard to be aggressive when you're confused. Some of us think that taking our lives to the next level, both personally and professionally, is a confusing and complicated process. Guess what? It's not, and I can prove it. My book, Truisms, will show you how living your life by rules that are so self-evident and obvious, you'll say, I knew that. This powerful yet short, detailed bestseller is on sale right now, under $10. Go to MichaelMcFadden.com. That's MichaelMcFadden.com, and let Truisms help you to the next level.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
I want to be a warm fleece on a
I
cold
want to be
day.
a football
I want to
stadium.
be a bike that races around the country.
I want to be a bench on a forest trail.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
Coming to Tampa Bay, I said we want to win a Super Bowl, and I believe we will.
From IamSecond.com.
We came close, but never really did win that championship.
Former NFL head coach Tony Dungy.
At the end of my 6th year, I was fired, and it was one of the biggest disappointments of my life. Next year, I'm in Indianapolis, get to the playoffs, but get knocked out again. And for the next couple of years, it's the same thing. Everyone is saying Colts are never going to win one. And I did wonder, why didn't it pan out the way I thought it would? But I determined that I had to have Christ first, and that everything else came below that, including my own desires. The next year, that ended up being our year to go to the Super Bowl and win it. And it was a wonderful feeling. Every decision I make, I'm going to make it through the lens of Jesus Christ, and He'd guide us to that ultimate victory. I'm Tony Dungy, and I am second.
Hi, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and we're talking about self-preservation. So right before the break, we have Daisy here from Peasy Heads, and she does natural hair. So I was asking her about that natural hair journey and self-esteem and just kind of how all that ties together.
Yeah, so like we were saying before the break, I see going natural or growing locks as a rites of passage for Black women because we're brainwashed into thinking, that the kinky hair is not okay, nappy hair is ugly, you gotta have those edges laid down, you need to have it pressed out. My grandmother, was always in my ear about it, and I think we all have been through that. So when you make that decision to go natural, you're going up against all generations and generations of what's considered wrong with our beauty. So you come face to face with that, and in that journey, you come face to face with yourself, and then you learn that what beauty really is not what's in the magazine.
Right.
It is what's in the magazine, but it's not limited to that. The European standards of beauty, beautiful white women, they're beautiful Asian women, they're beautiful Indian women, they're lovely, gorgeous, just outstandingly beautiful Black women,
Absolutely, yes.
And I think that we're starting to see that now. And I feel like, the natural hair journey is a big part of that. So when you come face to face with yourself in the raw, without the relaxer, without the, the makeup, without all the extras, and you're forced to see yourself, and you're forced to accept yourself, and you fall in love with yourself and your raw, natural beauty. And I just think it's such an empowering thing. And then you start to feel like, as you go throughout your life and you have an important meeting, you have to do this, you want to put on makeup, but if you can't get around to the makeup, you still feel beautiful.
Right.
You see those people who can't leave the house unless their face is beat down. I like wearing makeup, don't get me wrong, but I don't wear it every day.
Yeah.
And I feel beautiful even when I don't wear it. So I feel like, that's just all a part of relieving yourself of having to worry about, what people think. And it's very empowering.
Right. Yeah. And I've seen, the varying levels of empowerment that it's happened, for people, struggling with weight and kind of coming to realize that I'm healthy and I'm, not that I don't want to get a certain size, but I'm not going to beat myself up and I'm not going to diminish the way I view myself, because of that, or, different hair textures. I know some people, have to wear makeup because there's certain skin, conditions and challenges that they may face, but there's still a room for being able to find beauty even within, those, circumstances.
Yes, absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't know. I know people have a wide variety of standard of how you have to define beauty for yourself, because even though we have the whole overarching, European standard of beauty, even within the Black community, we have tips about what's beautiful, the straight hair versus the kinky hair.
Absolutely. Light skin versus dark skin, all of that stuff. And I just think it's sad because there's no one defining factor. I think that beauty is beauty and we all have it,
It comes from within. I know that sounds cliche and corny, but it really does. It comes from within, and it's what you are able to exude.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you have that confidence, it goes a long way.
Oh yeah.
When you're like, I remember when I went natural, it was in the 90s. It was before it was cool. It was before YouTube, before Facebook. I mean, of course, I'm only 21, so I don't know how that's possible, but no, really, when I did it, it wasn't a fad. There weren't natural hair shops like Peasy Heads, and there weren't natural hair products like Daisy's Garden.
Yeah.
But, I did it because I knew that it was a part of healing.
Yeah.
It was a part of transforming those old ideals that have been instilled, that's genetically instilled in us. And so I made that decision. You know what? I'm not relaxing my hair anymore. And nobody supported me. No, there were no support groups, no natural hair chat rooms.
Right.
And, my high school counselor was like, what are you doing? You're never going to get a job. But I knew that I had to embrace who I was. This is what God gave me. And, by me relaxing my hair, it's like saying, oh, God made a mistake here.
Right.
And so I just decided I see the beauty in this and I am determined to make the world see the beauty in this. And that was empowering.
I love that. And I think I went natural in 2000 and, all that stuff wasn't there either. I kept perms regularly and weaves because I did not like the thinness of my natural, of my own hair, my permed hair. It was so thin, and I thought I gotta have extra hair in here to boost it up so I can have a big thick bob, Couldn't get a thick bob without the weave. So I was addicted and it was like every cycle. And then when I would take it out to wash it and redo it, I was like, ew, my hair is so thin. And so I just got accustomed to that. And I got sick of it one day. I literally just got sick of it. I was like, when I'm not wearing a weave, I'm wearing braids. So when can I actually just appreciate my natural hair? And I went to the salon where I usually get a weave. And I asked her, I've been growing out my natural hair. I only had like an inch, if that. I don't even think I had a full inch. I mean, my hair was so small. I mean, you could see the scalp. I mean, it was thin. I mean, it was short. But before she cut it, I asked, can you just cut off all the straight hair? Oh, the woman was so mad. She was so mad at me. Oh, my gosh. And she just kind of said, whatever. So go ahead and go to the back. That's where my barber's at. And she just wouldn't even look at me. Cut my hair off. And I don't know anybody. And my friends were nice. But I could tell they were like, what in the world
It's a form of shaming.
What did she do?
It's like you're being shamed for going natural by your friends and your family.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm grateful that they tried to be nice. But it was a journey. It was a journey. So anyway, we'll be right back on Live Exchange.
Marie Callender's knows that you may not have time to roll out dough for a perfectly flaky crust that's made from scratch, or enough time to mix vegetables with all white meat chicken and a homemade gravy. She knows you may not have a moment to crimp the edges of your favorite chicken pot pie, but Marie Callender's does. And when she's done, all you need to do is find time to grab someone special, sit down, and savor. Marie Callender's, it's time to save.
1 in 7 Americans will struggle with addiction during their lifetime. Want to know how you can help? Go to heretolisten.com for tips and tools to help turn addiction around. A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council.
Okay, so 5 tacos of cheese and a large soda. That's $10,012. Please drive around.
Wait, 10,000 what?
It's obvious you're buzzed and driving.
I've only had a few. I'm fine.
Yeah, the food's $12, but getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Please drive around. Actually, just park and come in.
Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
And so a new American industry has been born.
Sensation Station Network.
Keeping your balance with Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela.
All right, so this week's Balance Challenge is brought to you by BBLA Cosmetics. Breathe Beauty LA. They're the ones who are responsible for this look on my face today.
And she looks good.
This is my favorite. I think this is my favorite look that they've done so far. And so BBLA, they do a whole host of things from lashes to skincare to treatments and all kinds of stuff. So check them out. They're BBLA at breathebeautyla.com. And this is also brought to you by Red Door Consulting. The president is Tarshish Jordan, and she will help get your business together, your imaging, your branding, all of that. Check them out and visit them at reddoorconsulting8.com. So this week's Balance Challenge is to eliminate something this week. So I don't know about you, but I got a lot going on. and for me, in order to really focus in on the things that are important and the things that I'm actually put on this earth to do, I have to get rid of the extra clutter that really doesn't lead me or take me into the direction of my purpose and what I'm supposed to be doing. So for me, if I were to eliminate something this week, I would maybe cut down some of the random social media time. I was laying in bed last night and I'm like, why am I doing this? What am I doing? Just letting my brain melt and my eyes go. My challenge to you is to eliminate something this week. Come up with something that really isn't adding to who you are. As my friend Damian says, and I think he may be listening right now, but if it's not an addition, it's a subtraction. So find something that is not an addition to your life, something that's not adding to what you are supposed to be doing. Eliminate it. Just see what it's like. Go on a diet from that thing.
I love it.
And see what it's like and how that enhances you and how you may be able to replace that with something more purposeful. Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, and so we're going to break. That is your challenge from this week.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her?
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge?
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve. It's now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend?
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Marie Callender's knows that you may not have time to roll out dough for a perfectly flaky crust that's made from scratch. Or enough time to mix vegetables with all white meat chicken and a homemade gravy. She knows you may not have a moment to crimp the edges of your favorite chicken pot pie, but Marie Callender's does. And when she's done, all you need to do is find time to grab someone special, sit down, and savor. Marie Callender's, it's time to savor.
Welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela. I'm joined by Daisy Mack of Peasy Heads and of Daisy Garden.
You got it.
I was going to say Daisy's Hair Products. Daisy's Garden. Tell us about Daisy's Garden.
Daisy's Garden is a wonderful line of all natural, homemade products that we use on our hair and our body. And my mom and I started the company together. Well, really what happened was I opened my salon and was doing natural hair and couldn't find products that were good for locks, that were really good for locks.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff on the shelf, you know, that claims that it's for locks, but it leaves a residue or it's not natural or it's just, you know, it dries out your scalp.
Yeah.
And so really, literally out of need, you know, we came up with the products. My mom, she was mixing. She's good with home remedies. That's her thing. And she's a gourmet chef.
Okay.
So I guess she took those two and she put them together and she made this stuff. And she's like, I made this for your, you know, your shop. And I'm like, I was looking at her sideways. So like, girl, I ain't about to use that on my clients. And so one day, you know, a couple days, I asked my clients if they would mind if I used it. And they fell in love with it. I mean, they just really went crazy over it. So we started using it in the salon, and of course people wanted to buy it.
Right.
So we started selling it, and then now it's just snowballing into this whole thing. The lemon buttercream is what everybody loves the most. It is yummy. It's delicious. They call it hair crack. Yeah, you do want to eat it. It has that lemongrass scent or whatever. You use it on your hair, use it on your body.
Yeah.
You know, it has tea tree oil in it, so if you have a cut or a burn, it's great for that. But most importantly, it's really super duper hydrating for your hair, your scalp, and it's great for locks as well. So
it is the one product that I will put in my hair, in my locks, because I don't like. Maybe an oil and that's it. Like I do not put anything in my locks because I'm so worried about the residue and that can build up. So that the Daisy's Garden product is, and I'm not just saying this. Like it's really the only product that I will put in my hair other than just washing it. So yeah. So one of the things that you had mentioned. Well, we had earlier we were talking about makeup, and I was saying there's some people who just they have conditions in which they really feel more comfortable going out in the world with makeup on because rather than getting questions and stares. But do you have a similar challenge with some clients who may have balding and that kind of thing? How do you work with clients?
Yes,
like
I
that?
do. I have lots of clients that have balding, thinning, bald spots, things like that. And, and it's huge. And, these women are really beautiful women. Some of them are really glamorous and into their looks. And for them to have, like bald spots, that's a huge, chip away at their self-confidence. So that's something that I really enjoy doing. I really take pride in doing it. And there's several different techniques that I have to help with what I call hair restoration. For natural hair. If someone has locks and they have like a thin area on the top, I literally make these tracks with locks on them and connect it to the healthy part of their hair. So it actually covers the thinning area with natural looking locks, blends with the hair, and it doesn't cause further damage.
And it really does blend.
It blends beautifully. You guys, definitely check out my website. I'm going to be posting some pictures. I'm working on a page just for the restoration services, but it's amazing. And then if a person has twists or braids or whatever, I have a host of different techniques that I can use to cover those thinning areas. Sometimes I can do it with their natural hair without even adding any hair.
Wow.
And other times we'll add hair. But the most important thing is that whatever I do it in a way where it doesn't cause further damage. It's just masking the area. And then you can feel beautiful, you can feel confident, and, and not worry. Now, if there's a case where we can get the hair to grow back, that's definitely going to be the priority, making sure that the hair is healthy and that we can get it. But sometimes it's hereditary or certain conditions or medication, and it may be something that just products alone can't address.
Right. So what would you say, or have you said, because I'm sure you have said something to somebody who's really struggling with their self-image, and you mentioned earlier looking at in the mirror and embracing the beauty of who you are. Somebody who's struggling with that, maybe for that reason or for some other reason, what would you say to them?
Well, first of all, I think that hair and makeup definitely help. You know, a makeover is always good, but I'm more concerned about what's going on underneath.
Yeah.
I think a make under is more in order.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like you need to feel good on the inside. And, you know, that may mean, you know, health-wise, taking better care of yourself, or that might mean, you know, mentally getting your mind right and really coaching yourself through, I am beautiful, I am strong, you know, saying those affirmations. But I feel like you said earlier, it may sound cliche, but really the beauty does come from within. I mean, I've seen women who have the bald spots or their hair is just completely gone, and they choose not to wear a wig, and they choose not to cover up, and they put on their makeup and they go out just like they are. And I am amazed at those women. And that is what I'm talking about. So you have to start within. Once you feel good and that beauty can radiate from, you know, from within you, then that's the first step. Then we can put a little makeup on, a little hair, and then you have that whole total package. But you need to feel good about who you are.
And
that's
that
the most important thing.
Yeah, that's really good. That's really good, and people need to hear that because, you know, we are in an overly glamorized society. I mean, heck, look, like you're saying, I got makeup on.
Right. I do too.
You know?
A little bit, just a little lipstick, you know.
You know, and so we are in a society where, you know, people are like, oh, you know, fix up, selfie.
Yes.
Like, I am so glad I didn't go to high school in this era.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, or middle school.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
No.
Oh my goodness,
No.
the pressure.
Yeah.
It's like they come into the world selfie ready.
Yes.
The babies are like.
Yes, and they have been glamorized from the moment that they were born. Heck, from the birth experience. You know, you got everything being videoed.
Yes.
And I'm willing to bet if we did an analysis, here's the researcher in me talking, but if we did an analysis of all the photographs that were taken in the 70s and all the photographs that were taken like this year, they're going to be much more glamorous looking because they're doctored up, they're fixed, we've got makeup on more so than we would have had in the 70s. I mean, it is just, you know, it might scare the people in the 70s.
It probably would.
If they saw.
It scares me.
Like, are those real people or are those robots in the future? So I don't know. I just that's kind of but yeah. So anyway, that's I just think it's really important, and I knew that you'd be able to really give some great advice to people who struggle, with, you know, with the internal part of loving themselves. So we're going to get into love letters.
Love Notes with Dr. Pamela.
I mean, love notes. Okay, so this love note comes from Ernest. Ernest is saying, Dear Dr. Pamela, I am worried about my wife. She is a savior to everyone in our life. I am seeing how it is impacting her because she's always tired and doesn't really take time to enjoy life. After she puts out one fire for a member of her family, there is always something else that comes up. It is really impacting our household and our relationship. What can I do to help if she's always saying that she's fine when I know that she is not? Denial. That's a good one. And that's like key. What can I do to help if she's always saying that she's fine when I know that she is not?
And we all do that.
Yeah. And he probably knows her better than anybody else. So he knows. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, if what you're saying is true, then that means that he has to kind of use his intuitive self to figure out, you know, how do I address her needs? What do I do? I mean, for some women, a spa day, you know, is good. For other women, it's something different, you know.
Yeah.
He has to try to figure out what that thing is.
Right. What is it for her that she cannot refuse? You know, that she is just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he did this.
Yeah.
I have a mentor that I follow on Facebook, and you know, she's amazing. And she posted that she came home from a really exhausting day the other day, and her husband, as soon as she walked in the house, and one look on her face, he said, okay, drop everything, we're going out. And you know, he took her out to dinner, and chose a restaurant that was quiet and peaceful, and on top of that, allowed her to just talk about everything she needed to let out about the day. Just listened to her. Didn't try to fix everything unless she asked for it, but just listened to her and allowed her to process, because for her, the way her mind works, like me too, is being able to process something really just releases a lot. So
yeah, that's true. She has a good guy.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and sometimes the solution is simple.
Mhm.
You know, it's just you just need to vent, or you just need to process, or you just need to get it off your chest. That's great.
Right.
I love that.
And sometimes we have to step outside of ourselves, like you did,
Uh-huh.
to be willing to see that instead of taking things personal.
Mhm.
Well, you know, I didn't do anything to you today.
Right.
You know, why are you acting like that? I haven't seen you all day. You know,
or trying to fix it.
Right.
Which men are, you know,
Yeah.
they love to fix things.
Right,
It's-
or why don't you just do this? It's just a piece of cake. And you know what?
Yeah.
And I kept, it's not even just men, because I have some girlfriends and be like, all you have to do is this, X, Y, Z, bam, it's done. Okay, so next topic. And I'm like, I didn't get to process it. I need to process.
Right.
So, yeah, you know, so Ernest, I agree with Daisy. Just, you know, if you can find out what it is about your wife, and you probably know, that just brings her at peace, and create that for her. Just create that space for her so that she steps into it and doesn't even realize it until she's into it. I'm like, oh wow, what did you just do? You
that's
know,
awesome.
Yeah,
I love it.
So, and so if you can try to create those experiences, and maybe that will open the door for some conversation about really how can we,
what the problem really
yeah,
is.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because there's always a root to the excessive running around, and sometimes it has to do with acceptance. And I feel like if I don't do this for people, they're not going to accept me, or I'm failing them somehow. And so I think it's important to get to that root.
Yeah, or I can't be that superwoman, which even, you know, superwomen still need time to be just, you know,
Yeah.
an everyday person, and they can't meet all the needs all the time. And it's okay.
And they shouldn't, yeah.
Yeah.
They shouldn't, because people have to be able to resolve their own problems at
Yes.
some point. All right, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Everybody successful lays a blueprint out. You laid the blueprint out. I stayed true to my dreams, and by doing that, eventually it came true.
A lot of times, you know, it's like in life, right? Life brings like drama, and you got to deal with this person, and a funky relationship here, and all these things. You try and just kind of balance them out as best I can.
Make a choice, right? You just decide what it's going to be, who you're going to be, how you're going to do it. Just decide. And then from that point, the universe is going to get out your way.
Everybody wants to be a beast until it's time to do what real beasts do.
Unleash your beast. Write your history.
Deliberate dumbing down.
Dumb down society.
Deliberate dumbing down of America.
Dumb down public. Why would they do this?
Sensation Station Network. Radio, not dumbed down.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. We are at the top of the second hour. Wow, we've had so much great conversation so far. So those of you who are engaged and are watching, give us a call, or you can text your comments, questions, advice, 678-613-5857. We just had a letter from Ernest, who was wondering how to kind of bring his wife back to a place of peace, because she's all over trying to help everybody else. If you guys have advice for Ernest, definitely contact us and let us know. Give us a call. Again, the number is 678-613-5857. And so we are talking about self-preservation, and I'm joined here by the owner of Peasy Heads and Daisy Garden, the company that's behind the yummy lemon butter cream.
Yeah, that's us.
Please don't eat the lemon butter cream. I had to make sure I say that, because I don't know. But it does smell so good.
Yes.
So one of the things that I mentioned earlier in the first research segment was the 10 diseases, ailments that we can actually do something about. And so the first two was heart, having asthma. Wow. So the other, the next one is diabetes. So stress can worsen diabetes in two ways. First, it increases the likelihood of bad behaviors. So you're probably going to drink more. You're probably going to have more candy bars, more sodas, whatever, because a lot of people go to sugar to reduce stress. And that's exactly what it says here. And then second, stress seems to raise glucose levels of people with type 2 diabetes directly. So it's a direct reason why stress goes out. Why the levels go up, glucose levels go up. So yes, stop stressing.
Yeah, don't stress. It's bad for you.
It's really bad. And then the next one, I'll just give you 2 right now, and I'll give you the rest later, is headaches. Headaches are caused by stress. Stress is considered one of the most common triggers for headaches, not just tension headaches, but migraines as well. So, wow. So we have eliminated 4 diseases already on the show just by reducing stress. So that's heart disease, asthma, diabetes, and headaches. So if you, if this is in your family, if you are somebody who has experienced any of these things, find ways to reduce your stress. And my balance challenge this week was
eliminate something.
So if you need to eliminate something that will reduce your stress, do that.
Yes. Yes. I love it. That's a great balance challenge. And you guys, I know that what you're doing in your life is important.
Yes.
I mean, of course, you know, your job is important, taking care of, you know, the needs of your family. These things are very important. But don't find yourself laying in a hospital bed. Don't find yourself laying in a hospital bed and realizing at that moment that your health was really what was important.
Right. And there was something you could have done about it.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
So do you have something that you were going to eliminate? I know I'm asking you totally on the spot.
No, because when you were doing it, I appreciate it because it's forcing me to think of it. Because I was trying to think, like, what can I eliminate? Because there's so much on my plate right now, right? I know I definitely want to add a bottle of wine.
Okay.
But I think the thing that I need to eliminate right now is probably eating out.
Oh, God. That's another one that's bad for me.
Yes, because, you know, just being busy, trying to get the shop open and trying to do all this. My task list is endless. You know, I wake up in the morning and I'm going. And there's no time to cook. I haven't cooked in I don't know how long. So I would like to eliminate eating out and replace that with some meal prepping. And, you know, and I think that will help lower my stress in a lot of ways. Number 1, it's going to help me to be more healthy. And number 2, it's going to erase that question of what am I going to eat?
Right.
Or I got to rush and go here and eat. You know, all I have to do is just reach in the refrigerator, get what I have prepared, and warm it up and eat.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. And it does take planning and meal prep to be able to do that. So, you know, you do have to be very intentional about, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this happen.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a good point because I know some people are like, yeah, right. I'm not going to do that. But, you know, when we opened, we talked about the fact that, you know, your peace of mind is your right, but you have to fight for it.
Yes.
It's not going to just be there. You know, you have to fight for it. And so if that means going the extra mile for you, then do it. I mean, we go the extra mile for a lot of other things that are extremely insignificant. You know, so why not take that time and meal prep and make sure that you're okay?
Right, absolutely. Oh my gosh. Talk about things that we go extra mile for, they're insignificant. I mean, I think about people who are chasing after love that doesn't love them back.
Oh my goodness.
You know, trying to hold on to unhealthy relationships and all that energy expended. So don't tell me you don't have the will to do something that's going to be good for you.
Right.
Because people got the will to do things that are bad for them all the time.
Yes.
So change that, switch it up.
Switch it up.
You know, redistribute that energy somewhere else.
Prioritize you.
Yes. All right. We'll be right back.
1 in 7 Americans will struggle with addiction during their lifetime. Want to know how you can help? Go to heretolisten.com for tips and tools to help turn addiction around. A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council.
When it comes to saving money, don't act like a baby.
Goo goo gaga.
Be the boss and make a budget.
I'm the boss, baby.
You're the boss of me.
I am the boss of you.
Are not.
M2.
Are not.
M2.
Need a little help?
Aren't you going to do any work?
I'm very busy delegating.
Create a personalized savings plan.
We can share.
You obviously didn't go to business school.
And get other tools and tips at feedthepig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Uncle Dan? Mom?
Dad?
If you store your guns properly, so not just anyone can get to them.
I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside. Safer when walking home.
Safer when my friends come over.
As your neighbor, I'll feel safer.
As a school teacher, I'll feel safer.
We'll all feel safer.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, Be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
Indoor baseball, anyone?
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Primary election.
Lack of diversity.
Gas prices.
Michael Jackson. Trending topics.
All right, trending topics. I'm writing one down right now because it just popped in my head, so I got to make sure I don't forget this one. But what's trending? So, sports. Yeah, I love sports, and I love the way that athletes are taking a stand against injustices, as they always have,
Yes.
throughout history. And so what is going on now is the NBA. So basically, Stephen A's comments about J.R. Smith, they've been going back and forth. And basically, Stephen A. Smith said that players wearing hoodies would remind whites of Trayvon Martin, and that this would scare them or make them uncomfortable.
Wow.
And so they've been kind of going, J.R. Smith and Stephen A. Smith have been going back and forth, because his thought is, well, no, they shouldn't wear the hoodies because it was, scare them. And so now let me see, what does it say what the hoodies were? It doesn't say what the hoodies, not in this particular blurb. But should they wear hoodies, or should this whole ordeal be, has this been taken out of proportion?
Why are they afraid of Trayvon Martin? He was the victim.
They're not afraid of him. They're afraid that it would remind whites of that whole.
Oh.
This is what Stephen A. Smith is saying now. It would remind them of that whole movement, and yeah. It's very interesting. So there's been like kind of a Twitter war going on over this whole topic.
What do you guys think?
Yeah.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they should wear the hoodies, take a stand. I think that we need to stop being so afraid to wear what we want to wear, and that we need to. To me, it makes a statement. It's a way of taking a stand. Heck, maybe let it be a reminder of Trayvon Martin. We need a reminder of Trayvon Martin. So if that's what it does, then so be it.
Yes.
The other one is Papa John's, CEO and founder. I don't know if you heard of this one. John Schnatter blames the NFL protest for poor sales of his pizzas. Yes, those dang protesters.
Y'all messing with his
messing up his pizza. The company, which is a sponsor and advertiser of the NFL, said customers have a negative view of the chain's association with the NFL. The company also cut its earnings growth expectations for the year, and Papa John's fell at about 10%. So, yeah. So he's mad. He's mad.
He'll be okay.
And then the last one, I don't know. Well, it's not the last one, but in NaNoWriMo, for those of you who are writers, NaNoWriMo stands for National Novel Writing Month. This is the book. Ooh. This is the month in which I every month all around the world, even though it says national, all around the world, writers band together and commit to writing a novel.
Really?
Yes. So starting November 1st and ending November 30th, spending a certain amount of time every day, even if it's 5 minutes a day, whatever you've committed to spend a certain amount of time every single day writing. And you have an ultimate word count goal by the end of the month. And so the idea is to try to achieve that. Now, there are groups all over the country, all over the web for, to motivate and encourage each other.
Accountability.
Yes,
okay.
Exactly. And that is actually how I wrote this book, on a NaNoWriMo month. I wrote
Really?
Yes, I wrote it, the first draft of the entire book in a month during NaNoWriMo. And so I probably won't be doing a full book this time, but I do have some writing goals to at least write every day for NaNoWriMo. So I encourage you, if you are writers, to jump in and do something, even if you don't plan on writing a novel, if it's a self-help book, or you just want to get into the regular rhythm of writing. It's a really great thing to jump into. So find that hashtag, NaNoWriMo. It's NaNoWriMo. So it's NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month.
Awesome.
So, yeah, it's pretty cool. But the last thing I wanted to bring up was Wendy Williams.
Oh, yeah.
So,
what was that about?
I don't know, but there's, so apparently for those of you who haven't heard, she was on the show live and she fainted. And she was in the middle of saying something. Suddenly her eyes got big. It was almost like this panic that happened. And then she just fell. And
that was
out.
Interesting. And it was like, it didn't look like she just fainted. It looked like something
like she was fighting
happened.
Something. Yeah.
It
like
was
she saw
scary.
Something or she was fighting something.
Yes.
There was like she knew something was coming.
Yeah.
The way, and I don't, I'm no medical professional, but it didn't, a lot of people, she came back on the air. I should add this. She came back on the air and said, you guys, that was real. I actually, it was heat exhaustion from this costume. And, if it was me, like somebody I saw posted said, if it was me, heat exhaustion, that costume's coming off.
She still had the costume on.
She still had it on. And, no, that would have come off. The show would have been done for
at
the day.
At least the wig and the hat.
Yeah, it's pretty and it's beautiful. I mean, it's gorgeous. I've never seen a Statue of Liberty quite like that. It's gorgeous. But I just don't think it was heat exhaustion, though. I mean, just from the looks of it, to me, it looked like a mini stroke.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I don't know. There was just something about it that did not look like a simple case of heat exhaustion. I hope that she really is going to get checked out. Because she doesn't strike me as somebody who actually takes care of herself.
Yeah, she doesn't. I agree with you. 100%. She does not strike me as a person who takes care of herself. She doesn't look like it, especially when they showed the picture of her on the beach. She just didn't look
healthy.
No,
not at all. And so, and I know that age has a lot to do with body parts not being able to stand up and things like that, but it was beyond that. It was beyond that. It was just something that didn't look healthy. And so I don't know. I can't accept that it was just heat exhaustion. Seizure, something neurological seemed to be going on there.
And you have to wonder, because when Wendy Williams, not to dog her out or anything, but she strikes me as a person who can be sort of shallow, superficial, and she's one of those people that, like, if you go on her show, your hair better be done, your face better, even your shoes have to be right, because she has a little shoe cam.
She does.
Right?
She does.
So, it kind of goes back to our original topic of self-preservation. She's, put together. But what's going on underneath?
She's covering a lot of stuff up, yes. And so Ginger Gibson is watching. Hey Ginger. She's saying, I'm looking good, ladies, thanks. She said she agrees that looked crazier than a simple heat exhaustion episode. And then Jay Hurt, the league allowed Nike to add the hoodies this season. Yay. If the league had a problem, they wouldn't have allowed it. So Stephen A. says Junior was pouting for being benched by wearing the hoodie. I don't understand his point of view is what Jay is saying. So thanks for checking us out, Jay and Ginger. We'll be right back. See you soon.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool, and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I am an American soldier. I'm a warrior and a member of a team.
I serve the people of the United States and live the Army values.
I will always place mission first.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never quit.
I will never leave a fallen comrade.
I am disciplined.
I am disciplined.
Physically and mentally tough.
Trained and proficient in my warrior tasks and drills.
I always maintain my arms, my equipment, and myself.
I'm
I'm an expert, and I am a professional.
I stand ready to deploy, engage, and destroy the
enemies of the United States of America in close combat.
I am a guardian of freedom and the American way of life.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
There's strong, and there's Army strong. See what it takes at GoArmy.com.
Welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela. Daisy and I are talking about an anti-bra campaign.
Yes.
Like, we hate bras. I hate bras.
Just say no, ladies.
I want to take it off. You know, like, I hate it.
Bra burning.
Oh! So we're talking about self-preservation and just how to better take care of yourselves. There's a kind of an idea that so for me, when I think about what our purpose is and why we're here, I have to paint a picture and I have to create analogies so that I can better, kind of make sense of what our purpose is. And so this is what I came up with. And it's in my book, but I talk about the purpose of the earth, of nature. The purpose of the earth is to basically preserve itself and to nurture the life that lives in it. Otherwise, what's the point of the earth? So the earth has 4 elements, air, fire, wind, land, and those all kind of conspire to make sure that the world is doing what it's supposed to be doing, that it's preserving itself. When we mess up the ozone layer, nature responds and does what it has to do. If there's things that we do to nature to threaten the earth, it will retaliate against us, even the inhabitants, because the earth comes first. And then the inhabitants.
Yes.
So if the earth can take care of itself, then it can take care of the inhabitants. So where I'm going with that is our own purpose. Our own purpose as human beings, I think, first is self-preservation. That we have to first be able to take care of ourselves and survive and thrive, so that we can then turn around and preserve humanity and push forth humanity. Because if we are living in desperate mode, we are living in survival mode, we're not going to care about humanity. In fact, we're going to destroy, we're going to do things against humanity to protect ourselves. So that's one of so I think our ultimate purpose, I think it's twofold, to take care of ourselves and then to take care of humanity.
Yes.
So
yes, I love that analogy. I think it's great. It makes so much sense. It's cohesive, and I think, just kind of to add to what you're saying, I think that we know intuitively what we need to do to preserve ourselves, but I think that it is a part of our culture to go against what we're naturally inclined to do.
Yeah.
We're kind of taught to suppress what is naturally, we know intuitively to do. So, I love that analogy, because it's like, okay, go back to really your intuitions, go back to what you innately know is the right thing. We don't necessarily always listen to what our intuitions. You ever been in a situation and you're like, oh man, I knew something told me not to do that.
Absolutely.
Or, I had a feeling I shouldn't go that way.
Right.
But we're not trained to listen to that. It's almost like we're the only animals on earth that will run towards the smoke,
Right.
So go to, what's inside, go to your natural being. And I think that the answers are there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that, if our natural being, if other people were following their purpose, they would help to preserve us too.
Yes.
And so the parents that, are highly stressed and that are putting that on their children without realizing it are doing a disservice to their children, and they're not walking in their purpose. Not because it's their fault, not because they're doing something like, it's not a blame thing. It's more of an awareness thing.
Yes.
That is what's going on in my life, feeding me and adding to me, and therefore also feeding and adding to the people that surround me.
Yes, yes, and then it becomes viral.
Yes,
yeah.
Absolutely.
So it could be viral in a good way, or it can be viral in a bad way.
Right. Yeah, I mean, so as soon as something goes wrong, as soon as somebody experiences abuse as a child, they are now in survival, whatever means. I'm going to defend myself against the people that are against me, and so it no longer could they care less about humanity or the people in their circle, because they are preoccupied with protecting themselves.
They're in survival mode.
Yeah. So I just think that's something that we need to think about when we consider our own journeys and the extent to which, sometimes people struggle with finding their purpose. Like, I don't know what my purpose is. How am I supposed to know? Well, a clue to that is, first of all, are you taking care of yourself? Your first purpose is to make sure that you can stay alive and to thrive, because if you don't do that, you can't serve the other purpose, which is to add to humanity, add to what's going on. There are people who need your spirit of love. There are people who need your gifts and talents. There are people who need to be saved. And so those are the things that you're here for, but you're not going to be able to effectively do that if you're not okay. So I'm preaching. I don't know.
No, but you're on point. You're right on point. Sometimes we need a little preaching too. I think you're right on point with that.
Yeah. So, anyway, because I can get on a soapbox about that.
But that book, though, Secrets of the Obsessed, is it available?
It's, you know what? I've done a soft release of Secrets of the Obsessed, and that's in, Milwaukee. Had the opportunity because I was there this weekend, but it is not officially released yet. It won't be officially released until the spring. So
you guys look out for that, because she does an excellent job of tying in that analogy of the elements to the day-to-day struggles of life and of trying to live your dream and accomplish your goals. It all comes together so beautifully and eloquently, and it makes sense because you're comparing it to nature, and we're all a part of nature. So it's a holistic approach to accomplishing your goals, and it's great, you guys. So when she does release it, make sure you get a copy.
Yes, thank you for that. And we, and this is in spite of the naysayers and the people who have negative things to say. And you know what, it's funny, it occurred to me that when it comes to naysayers, we have this thing about wanting to see them do bad, wanting to say, you know what, watch them fail while I succeed, or watch me climb up the ladder, and then what they're going to say. And I think that we need to take a different approach to how we deal with our haters, and even how we think about our haters, because that negative mindset is toxic.
It is.
When we want to see them fail.
It is.
Or when we want to prove them wrong for negative reasons.
Yeah, I like that. And and everybody knows that if you're successful in any minor way, you're going to have haters. And, how you deal with those haters, it's imperative. It could bring you up, it could bring you down. I mean, because
what happens if your haters actually are more successful than you are? What happens if they climb the ladder and they actually pain you're less of a person, or your purpose was less important than theirs?
So what do you think? Do you feel like you should just ignore the haters, or people trolling on your page? Like, how do you deal with that?
I think that you should applaud your haters when they are successful, and I think that you don't have to do it to them. You don't have to go on their page and applaud them, but
within yourself.
Your mentality, you have to have a mentality of apprecialing their successes and learning from those successes. They may not, even if they went about it in a way that isn't healthy, learn from that. Find a way to, realize, okay, that's their way, but this is mine, and stand firm in who you are. But there's no reason to be hateful towards somebody who, even if they were hateful towards you. I have a hater, and that person is doing extremely well, and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Look at what this person is doing. If you're watching, hello. All right, we'll be right back.
Indoor baseball, anyone?
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Viola Davis. Did you know that 1 in 5 kids in America struggle with hunger? Growing up, I was one of those kids, but we can solve this. When we make breakfast happen for kids in our neighborhood, we have the power to end childhood hunger, create bigger, brighter school days, and healthier minds and bodies. Go to hungeris.org and lend your time or your voice.
We're hungry for more.
A message from the Albertsons Companies Foundation and the Entertainment Industry Foundation.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Major key alert. Life is like school. You will be tested, so pass it.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at GetSchooled.com. Brought to you by GetSchooled and the Ad Council.
Deliberate dumbing down.
Dumb down society.
Deliberate dumbing down of America.
Dumb down public. Why would they do this?
Sensation Station Network. Radio, not dumbed down.
In the interest of science. Science.
Okay, so this time the research is looking at love and how love is the key to healing. I just love the concept, you know.
I love love.
I love love too. Love is just a beautiful thing. And so this is an article written by Nirmala Raniga, and she is, this is published on Deepak Chopra's website, chopra.com.
Okay.
So you know it's got to be good.
Right.
But love is the key to healing, according to this article. And basically what it's saying is that self-love is the most important love that we can invite into our lives. So that does serve as a foundation for everything else that we do. So if we love and care for ourselves, and this is kind of what I was just saying about our purpose. If we love and care for ourselves, and we're able to share love with others. So this just kind of gives us some ways that we can bring more love into our lives. So, and I think there are 7 here. So number 1 is to reconnect with your true purpose. And so this is what I was talking about the last hour. Even if you don't know exactly what it is, if you can at least know that it's about how you take care of yourself and how that consequently is going to allow you to help other people, there's a place to start.
Yes.
So if you don't know what in the world is my purpose, start taking care of yourself.
Yes.
And that will, it should
create an environment for that to emerge within yourself, what that is.
So don't panic if you don't know exactly what it is. You know, just start with taking care of yourself and the people that are in your world, and you'll figure it out.
Yes.
You'll figure out what that is. Let's see. Practice self-forgiveness. So and I think I've mentioned this a few times, we have to be forgiving of ourselves.
That's huge.
We can't be so hard on ourselves. We make mistakes. That's what's supposed to happen.
Yeah, and you learn from those mistakes. Anything that happens bad, there's some silver lining there.
Yes.
So spend your energy on digging through and getting the treasure of it, and then letting go of all the bad stuff, because you're just lugging it around like, you know, a bag of bricks.
Right. And honestly, the things that you struggle to forgive yourself about is the same kind of judgment you have about other people.
Oh.
So if those are things that you struggle with, how are you going to help somebody else that has the same struggle?
So true.
Yeah.
Wow, that's huge. Yeah.
So self-forgiveness, again, begins with self-preservation, taking care of self. That's going to impact how you deal with other people in your world. The next one is practice, and you said this earlier, practice positive self-talk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even if you don't believe it yet,
Yeah, just put it out there, say it,
Yep.
you know, repeat it over and over to yourself like a mantra.
Yep.
You know, I am beautiful, I am strong. Like that scene in Girls Trip. Remember when she was just like, I'm beautiful.
Yes,
I'm strong, I'm together. Like that was real. I think it was Ruby that told me that scene brought her to tears, because that's so real. Sometimes you really do have to take that moment to affirm yourself.
Right, and in that movie, she was the one that was all about motivating other people, and lo and behold, she had her own stuff, which is always the case. So, you know, we need to stop being surprised when we realize that the guru has their own personal problems.
We're all human.
Right.
Don't idolize people and think that they, you know, that they've got it all. It's okay to admire a person, but just know that they're humans.
Right.
We all have problems. So, you know, the person that you think is perfect might have like a sixth toe or something on their foot. I mean, you just, it's always something, you know.
Always something. Right. The next one is to meditate. The sitting in silence helps us reconnect with our essential nature, with our spirit. So when we meditate, we quiet the constant stream of thoughts running through our mind and dip into the wellspring of pure consciousness and love. So, and we don't do that enough. We don't just stop.
Yeah.
And just quiet everything.
Yeah.
You know.
And it really takes a conscious effort to do that.
It does.
I know for me, it's at night when I'm everything is going through my mind, everything I did today, everything I have to do tomorrow, and I have to consciously say to myself, you know, stop thinking about that.
Yeah.
Let that go. This is the time to just be quiet and be, you know, at peace. And So yeah, we need to do that more often.
Yeah, and for those of you who are following me on Facebook have probably seen posts about me doing my morning walks and that kind of thing. And that is my meditation time. I know a friend of mine asked, can you meditate while you're walking and moving? Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. In fact, Deepak Chakra has ways for you to meditate while you're walking. If anybody, if you Google it, there's a lot of ways to meditate while you're walking. So for me, I turn on that massage type music, the Enya station on Pandora, and then I walk. And sometimes I do have my eyes closed, which is probably, for at least like 5 steps at a time, just for like a couple of steps. And, I'll open my eyes just to make sure I'm okay. But the meditation while walking focuses on, a lot of different things, but one of which is focus on a place that's ahead of you and just focus on that point. Until you get there and then find a new point of focus.
Yes.
But yeah, so there's a lot of ways to meditate, and depending on the kind of person you are and what some people can get up at 4 or 5 in the morning and go into a room and meditate. I will be asleep. So
yeah,
I need to be emotional.
A nap for me.
And there is a difference between prayer and meditation.
Yes.
And so, there is a distinction between the two, and I happen to do both while I'm walking. So after done with the meditation part, I definitely do those two things separately, and praise. So there's prayer, praise, and meditation.
There you go.
Totally different things, but they all kind of, work together.
Yes.
So number 5 is nurture gratitude. I love this one.
Yes.
So this is walking around finding ways to be grateful.
Yes. Yeah, because you can't get more unless you're grateful for what you already have.
Yeah.
And we all have something to be grateful for, even if it's just the little things, and I'm big on that.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful for so many things, especially the people in my life.
Yeah.
My mother, my father, you, Pam. There's so many people, my boyfriend, that are just instrumental in just supporting me and making the environment right for me to blossom, you know. And so I'm thankful for that, and I'm always constantly expressing that.
Right. And it's important, because in our first world with all our first world problems, we tend to, minimize the everyday blessings that we experience. And so just by expressing the gratitude, just by being able to say it changes the composition of our brains. It changes it from a negative, place of anxiety and stress, and just kind of allows us to just relax and really pay attention and bring in that more positive energy into our lives. So it's a very intentional act. Even, again, if you don't believe it yet, still.
You have to do it.
Express
Have
that
an
gratitude.
attitude of gratitude.
Yes, absolutely. That is another way to bring love into your life. There's 2 more. Number 6 is spend time with loved ones. That seems like an obvious one, but spend time with loved ones. This enables us to share the love that we are rediscovering in ourselves. So in other words, it allows us to practice love.
Okay.
When you practice love, you get better at it.
Yeah.
So practice loving the people that are in your life. And then the last one is volunteer. Giving our time is yet another avenue to expand our hearts. And I do that a lot when it comes to, people wanting me to come and speak or mentor or work with a group of people who are struggling in a particular area. And, I don't realize how impactful it is until after the experience. And I'm just like, whoa. And I'm filled with love.
Yes.
Filled with love as a result of the experience. So
that's a great feeling.
Yeah.
That's a great feeling. And a lot of people don't either have the opportunity or don't seek it out, but there's so many organizations out there too that you could do volunteer work, like Habitat for Humanity and things of that nature. So definitely, I believe firmly in volunteering.
Yeah. Yes. So love, people. Love is a very strong healing force that we should embrace into our lives. So when we come back, I see that we have a question from Jay Hurt, and he was back to the hater conversation.
Okay.
He's asking, can you be a hater and do well holistically? We're going to answer that question when we come back.
We're more connected than ever before. 90% of America's students use some form of social media, but not all of it's used in a good way. Hurtful posts online are leading to social isolation for many. Psychologists say it's bullying in a brand new way. Well, Beyond Differences and I Keep Safe are looking to change that with ideas for students, their parents, and even teachers. Take the pledge to be kind online and learn more at wearekindonline.com.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
There's a power you have within you, unlike any other. You can't explain it. It's just there. It drives you, compels you. You cannot ignore it. Do you feel it? It's that power that tells you you can do the absolute impossible. The power that tells you you're more than what you currently are. The power that tells you it's time. Launch. Move. Skyrocket your life with Rocket Sports One fitness gear. RocketSports-One.com.
Green light. Hey girl. School zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Keeping your balance with Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela.
All right, so this week's balance challenge is I want you to eliminate something this week. So we've got all kinds of stuff on our plates that don't need to be there. We've got all kinds of distractions that we don't need to have that are pulling us away from what we're supposed to be doing. So if we want to preserve ourselves, then we need to figure out what those things are and focus more, deeply on those things that move us forward instead of us back. So my challenge for you this week is to eliminate something this week that you don't need. So what is that for you? What is that for you? Is it a relationship? I know that's a big one, but if it's a relationship.
Yeah. And sometimes it's not romantic. I mean, it could be a romantic relationship or it could be a platonic relationship.
Absolutely. It could, that is so true. So, what is it that you need to, we got some comments. So that was the balance challenge. We got to get into these comments. So let's see. So Jay asked before the break, because I talked about haters. Right. And I was saying that, Daisy was asking, so how do we respond to our haters? And I was saying that we respond to them when they are succeeding and they're doing well, without jealousy or envy or resentment or hate in our hearts, but of applause or great, this is awesome, but authentically. Sometimes we might just have to say it until we believe it. But to be able to authentically applaud somebody who is a hater, who has stepped on you along the way, who has brought you down, who has been condescending towards you, but they are still succeeding, and they may have actually passed you at some point. And so what Jay is asking, can you be a hater and do well holistically? You can do well. Now, holistically might be another question.
That's a good point. Yeah. That is because we were just saying on the break that there are a lot of people who are haters, and that's just one category. There are a lot of people that do some really despicable things and that are successful.
Right, absolutely.
Despite that. But is it holistic?
Probably not. No. And so that might be something, but however, I will say that somebody who's a hater, they still can be successful holistically, because they may be a hater because they disagree with your philosophy on how you do things. It doesn't make them a bad person. It doesn't make them an unhealthy person. Right. It just means that they disagree with the way you do things. They express it in a way that you don't like. Right. And you may perceive that as haterism.
Well, sometimes a hater loves you.
Yeah.
And they're uncomfortable with the fact that they love you.
Right.
And that's why they hate you. Or they see themselves, they see you doing what they know they can do, but they're not doing it.
Right. And so that is just consuming them.
Mhm.
Right. So, I would say that we can't necessarily generalize about our haters. What I will say, though, is as they are climbing up the ladder, and and it is possible for them to pass you, and that cuts into our morality, because our morality says, nope, somebody does you wrong, karma's gonna get them.
Right.
Well, if karma doesn't get them in the way you think karma's supposed to get them, then you need to let that go.
Yeah. And sometimes karma is getting them, and you just don't get to see it.
And you just don't get to see it.
Mhm.
But it might be that you're not necessarily right, too.
True.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, just because they're a hater in your mind doesn't mean that's genuine hate.
Yeah.
So, all right, we'll be right back.
People are always looking to invest in a good opportunity. So what if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change, called Better Futures. With your investment, it helps students like me go to college. My name is Charles, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. Brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
I'm more resourceful than I thought.
My suit can still make
Future.
because when I donate my stuff to Goodwill,
it helps fund job placement and training for people right in my community.
Now my stuff gets a second chance.
and will give someone in my community
A second chance too.
Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. That's goodwill.org. This message brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
JBT 700 Miami Circle 30324. It's not a chain, it's a chain reaction.
Invest $49 a month at a real gym.
For more info, go to facebook.com/Jeans Body Tech.
This is big business. This is the American way.
Station Network.
See ya.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and I just got to acknowledge our sponsor, Heavenly Helpers Assistance. Heavenly Helpers Assistance are there for you if you need assistance with your family. Or your loved ones, yourself or your loved ones. So give them a call. They have uncompromising excellence, commitment to care. Check them out on www.heavenlyhelpersassistance.com for more information. Just point of clarification here, one of our viewers is saying, Ruby Blow is clarifying that Kevin Spacey is a producer and that he deserves for his show to get canceled. So the whole show is canceled because he's actually a producer of the show and not just an actor. And she's saying it was pedophile behavior. And he's not denying it. He's just excusing it, saying he was drunk and the kid was 14. So he did put out this apology, in which I read. And the apology said, I'm really sorry. I was wrong. I did this. And then he said, I was drunk. And so some people are interpreting that as that's his excuse. He's excusing himself because he was drunk. Other people are saying he just overtalked and he just didn't know when to stop, and so take it as you will, but yes, so that's basically what happened. So two things that I want to do before we end. I want to make sure that I give you all the rest of the diseases that you can solve by reducing your stress, and I want to give Daisy the opportunity to talk about some job opportunities she has with PZ Heads. So the obesity is one of them. So excess fat in the belly seems to pose greater health risks than fat on the legs or hips. So belly fat, try to do something about that. Stress causes higher levels of the hormone cortisol. And so stress can reduce that as well. Reducing stress can reduce that as well. Depression and anxiety, and that seems like an obvious connection to stress. Gastrointestinal problems. So here's one thing that stress doesn't do. It doesn't cause ulcers. However, it can make them worse. Stress is also a common factor in a lot of other gastrointestinal problems, such as heartburn and irritable bowel syndrome. I will say, if you guys read Letters to the Brokenhearted, I think I mentioned it in there. I had irritable bowel syndrome the whole time I was married. I didn't even know.
What?
I never pooped.
And it went away after you got divorced?
As soon as I left,
wow,
my body flowed. I know that's way too much information, but it did. I'm telling you, stress is so related to what our bodies do. Alzheimer's disease, accelerated aging. We accelerate our aging when we stress, people. And then last
Can't
one,
have that.
Yes. And the last one is pretty grim, premature death as a result of stress. These are all things that we can avoid if we reduce stress in our lives. Powerful stuff,
Very
you guys.
powerful.
Powerful stuff. Article on WebMD. I'll post it after the show. So tell us about your position that you have at PZ Heads.
Okay, well, first of all, speaking of stress-free environments.
Yes. Very important.
PZ Heads traditionally has always been a really fun environment to work in and to visit as a client. And so now that we're opening our new location in Stone Mountain at 4600 Rockbridge Road, in case you want to come check me out, we are actually looking for some great natural stylists to join the PZ Heads team. We're looking for girls or guys that offer services that are chemical free. So if you are a loctician, if you are a sister lock specialist, if you do sew-ins, if you do crochet braids or goddess braids or anything that is chemical free, we're looking for some really wonderful, friendly people with great personalities to join our team. We have commission positions as well as booth rentals, and we also have a suite rental available. So give me a call or visit my website, peasyheads.com. That's PEEZYHEADZ.com, and then and we can talk.
And we'll make sure to post that so you guys can just click on the link as well.
Awesome. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Anytime. And you guys, next week is Women, Wine, and Wisdom next Saturday, November 11th. I'm very excited about it. Next week, we have a guest host competition happening. And next week, I hope to have the winner of that guest host competition join us on the show today, on the show next week. And we will be talking relationships next week. So go to my website, theliveexchangeradio.com, to learn more about that and all of the shows and everything that we'll be doing next week and beyond. If you missed a show, theliveexchangeradio.com, and also learn about Women, Wine, and Wisdom. I'm Dr. Pamela, and remember to love yourself to life, dance confidently in the dark, and dream wildly unrealistic dreams. Have an awesome week.
Big business. This is the American way.